You came on the right night. I feel gratitude towards you. Feel gratitude towards... Well, comedy is a partnership. There's the person on stage telling the jokes, but if I was doing it in my room, I'd just be a crazy person, you know? So it's a dialogue. So you guys, I've done other kinds of art. There's no art that's more of a partnership than comedy. Like, I need you, you know? And so, yeah, I'm about to tell a bunch of dick jokes. Don't get excited, all right? It's not... I can't handle the inconsistency of the thickness of hand sanitizer. Right? I just feel like by now we should have settled on the proper viscosity. And every time it's just like a slot machine. Sometimes I hit that pump, I'm like, this is just vodka. What are we doing with this? Did we give up? Are we just doing shots and crossing our fingers? Is that where we are? And then other times I hit that pump and it's so like thick and slippery and greasy. I'm like, are we about to get freaky in this Walgreens? What's about to go down right now? I'm just feeling very lubed up for a Tuesday afternoon. I'm not saying no, I just have a few questions, that's all. It is weird, you know? Because I was at all those rallies. You know, we were all chanting. We were like, all cops are bastards. Now I got on the subway at 1 a.m. I'm like, where the hell are those bastards? I sure could use some bastards right about now. I am suffering from a bastard deficit in my life. But yeah, it's interesting how we changed how we view cops. Cops were like heroes. Went from heroes to bastards. That's quite a shift. And you know who I feel bad for? We're not talking about is male strippers who dress up like cops. No one is talking about their plight. Because they were like top of the food chain at the strip club. Everyone loved Officer Steve. Now it's a whole new reality. They're like, please welcome to the stage, Officer Steve. Everyone there's like, boo! Send out a social worker who can treat mental health issues. That's what makes me horny now. Defund Officer Steve and give his singles to a community organization. That's what makes me wet. How you doing without your phones? Is everyone okay? You know that you're on drugs. In your pocket, that feeling that you have right now of wanting to check your phone, that's some junkie shit. All right? Ever been on the subway when it like goes above ground and everyone's like, ah! The airplane that lands, the whole fucking, ah! Fucking junkies. Whatever. Love your laugh. You're great. Is this your son?
Yeah.
Yeah? It's okay that he's your son. He seems nice. Is this your dad?
Yeah, this is my dad.
Okay. I could tell. Yeah. It's funny. No one in the room other than me can see you. Yet they can all tell too. It's nice. Well, that's cool that you came out with your dad to a show. You guys do a lot of stuff together? I can't figure out who knows the secret from who right now. I was at this like health food coffee shop the other day. I just feel confused a lot because I ordered a latte and the barista asked me what kind of milk I want. I was like, skim. And then she had a follow-up question I was not prepared for. She's like, what kind of dust do you want on it? Angel? I don't know. What do you got here? What's on the... Saw? Can I get a saw latte? An aspestochino, please. I don't understand what's happening. And, yeah, are you guys like nut milk people? I'm getting like an oat milk vibe over here. Sensing some weak bones, you know? My theory is that you can tell what generation someone is by what milk they drink. I think that's the tell nowadays. Because seniors, they drink whole milk. It's like, whatever, we're about to die. It's fine, all right? And boomers, they drink 2% because 2% is how much of the ozone layer they left us, right? Feel aligned with that number. I'm Gen X, we drink skim. Millennials drink almond. Gen Z drinks oat. Younger than that, breast milk. That's how you know. That's the formula. So I was like, I drink rice milk. Watch out, that dude's from the future, all right? That is a nut milk terminator sent back to destroy you. His father-son love well, that sounded wrong. I didn't mean that, but like, no, I want to talk about my mom, all right? 'Cause my mom took more drugs than I could ever take in my life, so that's why, like, I remember, this is a true story, like, 7th grade health class, they try to scare you away from doing drugs, so they showed us this special, and it was all about, like, how if you do LSD, you could have a flashback. Yeah, flashback. 20 years later, you could be driving, have a flashback. You drive right off the road. Wow, scary. And my mom picked me up from school that day. And we were in the parking lot. And I was like, Mom, did you ever take acid? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, more than once? And she's like, oh yeah. I was like, buckle up for this ride. Because my mom, before I was born, had this whole life. She lived in this neighborhood. She lived in the Lower East Side in a house on Ludlow Street. And she dated this guy named Angus, and they lived there together. And they used to throw these art happenings, these art events called Rites of the Dream Weapon. And there would be like movies and dancers and music and all this crazy like underground counterculture stuff. And I found a flyer for one of these events because my mom's not alive anymore. I Googled her name and it showed up with one of these flyers for one of these events. And it was Rites of the Dream Weapon. And I downloaded the flyer and the address on it was 85 East 4th Street, which we're all at 85 East 4th Street right now. Yeah, and so then I started Googling, okay, Rites of the Dream Weapon, and then I found a guy named Sterling Morrison had talked about that event and about how him and his buddies, Lou and John and Angus, all played music together for the first time at that event. And that was Lou Reed and John Cale and Sterling Morrison and Angus McLeese, the Velvet Underground. And so I just learned this week from doing this project that my mom produced this event where the Velvet Underground performed together for the first time, and we're all sitting in that space. And I'm trying to figure out what the point of all that is. But it's also like just sometimes you start making something and you just like, you don't know exactly what it is or where you're going, but you just like start going in that direction and then it starts revealing itself to you as you're going. It's almost like a ship that you're building. As you're sailing, you just keep putting new boards in and then trying to get to the other side. And that's kind of what like the act of creation is, and all the time. Just like, I think we got a leak. Anyone got a bucket? What do we do, you know? And I am on a museum dose of mushrooms right now. I didn't want to take a micro dose because I think that's for soccer moms. That's what I think a micro dose is. Like, just take you don't have to be more creative at work. I just took a little bit of mushrooms to be more productive at work. You're doing them wrong. You're doing that. You should take mushrooms and be like, why do I go to work? That is the proper dosage of mushrooms. Why do I keep going here? And also, everyone nowadays is doing like in these clinical settings to treat therapy or to treat anxiety and PTSD. And like, it's white walls and we blindfold you and there's a person there holding your hand. I'm like, that's fine. You can do mushrooms that way. Or you can go to the woods with your friends and take a heroic dose of mushrooms and be connected to the universe. And I want to advocate for that too. Because not everything needs to be co-opted by capitalism, all right? Not everything needs to be for profit and accepted by like academia and like Peter Thiel, all right? That doesn't, we can still be wild, we can still be underground, we can make an event that has all of us coming together in a room and being like, what the fuck was that? Do I have time to do one more? I gotta go. Okay. I didn't do a heroic dose because I've done that before, and it's. I'll tell you what happened last time I did a heroic dose of mushrooms. Because my friend, sometimes shit gets heavy. My friend asked me, "Do you think when we die you're turned into dirt, or do you believe in reincarnation?" I was like, I don't know. I think your body, you go into the ground, you decompose, yeah, you turn into dirt. And then, like, the worms crawl through you, and the sun shines down on you, and the water comes into the soil, and some DNA part of you gets activated, and you're just like, I got to go towards the light. And then you just start going towards the light. And then one day you're at the surface, and you're like a bird with, like, a beak and its shell, and you're just trying to, like, get above the surface and go towards the light. And then you're a blade of grass. And then you're above the ground, and then some cow comes by and like eats you, and you're inside this cow, and you're like, well, that's trippy. And now you're inside this cow, and then one day that cow gets slaughtered, sorry, and it gets turned into a hamburger though, and then it's served at a diner, and some little kid takes a bite, and all of a sudden you're inside this little kid. And so it's like, do I believe in reincarnation, or do I think you just turned to dirt? Yes. All of the above. What? Don't make me choose. Why are you making me choose? Because that's what we all want to keep going towards the light. We just have that in our DNA, this desire. And also, it's like when you're dying, people near-death experiences, they always talk about like there's a tunnel, there was a light, and I felt like I was being pulled towards the light, and that's what it feels like to die in a near-death experience. And then I started thinking about like, well, what does it feel like to be born? That's what it feels like to die. I was like, well, probably when you're being born, you're inside your mom's birth canal, and it probably like feels like there's just this long tunnel, and then, you know, something spreads and some light comes in, and you're just being pulled towards the light. And being born maybe is just another version of dying, and dying is another version of being born. And we keep thinking it's going to end or it's going to begin, but it's always just going, and it's just on you to decide when you want to be present. And that's why I'm never taking a heroic dose of mushrooms again. I'm never doing it again. But they've given me the light, so I'm going to go towards it. Thank you so much. I love you. Good night.
Keep it going for Matt Ruby, everybody.